ladies and gentlemen, it is July 7th, 2015. You are once again a part of the award-winning Squared Circle. Hollywood J. Williams, Dangerous Dan, way over there, right in the middle, of course. Ruckus himself.
Bringing it.
Bringing it.
Yep.
Bringing it.
Every week.
Every week, not next week.
Not next week.
Yeah, he's using up his PTO time.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Hey, it's summertime, vacation, kids are out of school. Got places to be, things to do.
Gotta use it up.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta use it up. But I want to wish everybody out there a happy belated July 4th. Our nation's birthday, of course.
Yep.
This past Saturday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Went off without a hitch.
Went off without a hitch.
Our Canadian viewers, Canada Day.
Canada Day, of course.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nothing says I'm proud to be an American if you're a wrestling company that holds a wrestling card on July 4th in a foreign country that at one time was an adversary of ours.
Right. Right.
I tell you, I don't know about that, but
I think it was just coincidence, just the way it happened. You know, I'm sure they didn't plan it that way. But you never know.
you never know. A little unpatriotic, if you ask me, but I'm not really too thrilled that they did that. But I do have to admit, it wasn't a bad card.
No, and they were making coin. That's the American way.
I wasn't up at 5:30 a.m. to watch it on the network.
Right, right.
Some people that are Facebook friends of mine actually were
Yeah,
up at 5:30 in the morning.
I was actually working at 5:30 in the morning.
You were up at 5:30 in the morning.
I was up, but I wasn't facing the network.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I was talking to my pillow saying the champ is here.
Right.
5:30 in the morning.
At 5:30. But I guess if you're in Japan, it's more like
Evening, yeah.
6 o'clock at night, 6:30
Something like that,
at
yeah.
night, something like that. I know the Philippines is exactly 12-hour difference. If Japan is the same time zone, it's probably
Roughly, yeah. I
Right.
don't know. I'm not an expert in that.
No, myself neither.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask our Filipino contingent.
that's correct. DJ Ricky?
DJ Ricky
There we
and
go.
Dangerous Diane.
Ah. Wait.
Our
In relation to Dangerous
Our
Dan?
international viewing audience.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Definitely. Giving a shout out to them, of course.
yeah.
But did you happen to watch it on a replay?
No, you know, I've been so crazy busy. You know, like again, vacation time, so other people are off, so I have to make up for people that are missing, and then they're going to return the favor for me. So
Oh. So might I indulge the two of you on the outcome then?
absolutely, absolutely.
I can do that.
Yep.
I'm the info guy.
There we go.
I'm the man. I'm the man you turn to if you need to be informed. So I guess everybody's going to learn something tonight. The
There we
viewers
go.
as well as the co-hosts.
There we go.
There we go. Beast in the East. Ryogoku. Here we go. It's flashback. It's shade.
It was in Tokyo, Japan.
It's
Just leave it that way.
shades of in the ring with myself and Walter Mann and the late great Bob McGuire. We're trying to read off these Japanese names on the first
Yeah.
wrestling show I was on. Ryogoku Sumo Hall.
Okay.
That was the name of the venue in Tokyo, Japan. Finn Balor at this in the main event has captured the NXT title
Yes.
from Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, the way his character is, we know he's abrasive, we know he's brash,
Yeah.
we know his whole moniker. You remember the first time he saw John Cena and he stepped on the United States title, and he stepped on the American flag on the United States title.
Right.
So you can't really put anything past this guy.
Well, I mean, do you think that was a move for them to remove the NXT title from him so he can go after the U.S. title on the main roster?
Right.
Because it seems like he's spending more and more time on the main roster than at NXT, and for him to show up on the main roster each week with the NXT title is kind of silly.
It's not really making any more sense.
Right.
Give him that main roster push,
So
even if he is one-dimensional.
Hey,
in my opinion.
that's okay.
You're
That's
entitled
why you're
to it.
here.
Right.
That's why you're here.
I don't consider him so much one-dimensional as I hope he doesn't upset the wrong person one of these days, and something happens. God forbid. But what he did, stepping on the U.S. title. Now it's ceremonial in Japan. At the beginning of any major title match, tag title match, low title, world heavyweight title match.
To eat rice.
No,
Oh, my bad.
you're bad.
That was stereotypical. Well, go
These
ahead.
geisha girls come out and they hand both the champion and the challenger a bouquet of flowers
Okay.
ceremoniously. So unceremoniously, Owens takes his bouquet of flowers and he smashes it on the ground.
Okay. Well, I mean, is that just a heel move?
Right. It's the heel move.
Okay.
And throughout the entire match, he's like complaining about being there. I hate this country. I can't wait to get back on the plane. You people
It's a heel.
suck.
It's a heel move. It's cheap heat.
You do what you got to do, right? You do what you got to do to draw heat.
Do what you gotta do to draw heat.
And, you
And
know,
most Japanese people can understand English, so.
oh. I don't see a problem with that. You know, he's just drawing cheap heat.
Cheap heat. So, that being said, Finn Balor captured the NXT title from Kevin Owens. It was actually the semi-main event. Now, Finn Balor, on the other hand, was warmly welcomed back in Japan. He competed there for numerous years, and I gotta give Michael Cole credit
Yeah.
and Byron Saxton credit for mentioning the fact that he used to be Prince Devitt and mentioning New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Yep.
All Japan Pro Wrestling during the telecast. Something I never really would have actually thought. You know, the WWE would have ever acknowledged these two companies.
Well, you know what? It seems lately that they've been acknowledging the other companies, particularly on their DVDs. You know, and their highlight reels. So you're showing Daniel Bryan in Ring of Honor, and you're showing Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose on the Shield DVD. Not only in Ring of Honor, but in some of the even more obscure independent
Right.
wrestling leagues. So I think that the curtain has been drawn back, and WWE has acknowledged that there are other companies out there. And I think they've got some. They got footage from Ring of Honor, which obviously they had to pay for and compensate Ring of Honor for, and gave them screen credit. When they were showing the clips. So I think it's a new view for the company. Whereas when it was just Vince running the show, he refused to acknowledge that there were any other wrestling organizations at all.
Anywhere else on the whole planet.
Right.
Right. So I mean, it was that's kudos to Michael Cole for doing that.
Yeah.
So he received basically a hero's welcome on his return, and at the end of the match, Tatsumi Fujinami, who was recently inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame
Yep.
for his many accomplishments in wrestling, came out. He congratulated the new NXT champion, formerly known as Prince Devitt in New Japan, now Finn Balor, and sitting also in the bleachers, whatever you want to call them, seats, was Kenta, also known as Hideo Itami, who is
Yeah.
now nursing a shoulder injury, I believe. And Itami will be now, once he gets better,
Yeah.
will be feuding with Prince Devitt or
Yeah.
Finn Balor, as
Finn Balor, yeah.
we call him now,
Yep.
over that NXT title.
Nice.
So that was very good. Kevin Owens, of course. Baylor tried to shake his hand, but Kevin Owens, of course, beat
Again.
Kevin Owens.
He's pulling the heel moves. So.
Only heel moves, like we've been talking
You
about
know.
here.
Yep.
Now Brock Lesnar had a classic match. That went on for an astronomical 2.5 minutes.
Woo!
Dan,
That's amazing.
do you really think that Kofi Kingston would have a chance against Brock Lesnar?
No.
Whether that match was in Tokyo or whether that match was in England or New York or on the moon.
But Kofi Kingston got on a major card
Right.
against, one of the top guys in the company at the moment. So, I mean, you can take your hats off to him.
Whoever was there was part of history because this was WWE's first live feed
Right.
from Tokyo.
Right.
We've seen Raw and SmackDown from Tokyo,
So, yes.
but on tape delay.
Yep.
This was an actual live feed.
But Kofi got, a pretty big spot.
Right.
Most people would have, given their left arm to get on the card, and just get on there with Brock Lesnar for goodness
Mm-hmm.
sake. So, hey,
And I imagine you got a nice payday to go along with it.
Right. I'm sure they probably were compensated quite well for giving up their July 4th hamburgers and hot dogs to go over and eat rice.
well, as we all know,
Exactly.
in wrestling there is no off season.
No.
So, these guys are working around the clock.
Round the clock. Nikki Bella retained the Divas title in a three-way against Paige and Tamina. That was also on the Beast in the East card,
Yeah.
as they called it. She's going to be keeping that belt for a while,
Can't see it.
seemingly.
Can't see it. Paige definitely deserves it. She's the better worker.
Mm,
She's got a better character.
right.
And I just can't see Nikki Bella as the Divas champion, but it is the Divas champion, so.
Right. And of course, with Tamina there, you did have the Beast in the East, as Jay said. So
She's another Beast in the East.
That was awful.
Right. The actual main event for this card was John Cena and Dolph Ziggler defeating Kane right before he went on vacation to Hawaii, of course.
Yeah.
And King Barrett. It was a house show style match.
So wait, you're saying Kane flew from Japan to Hawaii?
You must have.
Pearl Harbor? No.
Mm.
At any rate, go on.
At any rate.
Sorry.
Well, that was basically it. They defeated Kane and King Wade Barrett, and it was more like a house show style tag match
Yeah.
from what they are seeing.
Yeah.
Now the crowd was pretty into it. I gotta say, it was a big turnout at the Ryo Goku Sumo Hall. Ryo Goku.
Okay.
Say that 10 times fast.
No, thank you.
you can't
Right.
say it one time fast.
Ryo Goku sounds like something you shouldn't be saying on public access, but
Hey, no.
hey now. The crowd was pretty into it. They were their usual selves for Japanese wrestlers. They're respectful. They cheer when they like the high spots.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not like the American crowds where they're yelling and screaming and a part of the show throughout the whole 2 hours or whatever it is. The Japanese are very reserved and they clap and make noise very sparingly.
Right.
It's unusual, and even for some of the rock shows that go over there. If you listen to some of the interviews, the rock stars that go over there. People make noise throughout the whole concert here, and it's like the Japanese crowds, they wait until the song is over, and then they clap, and then the next song starts, and then they pay attention. And for me, I would prefer that, because I don't want to hear people yelling and screaming throughout the whole show. I pay to see the performers on the stage. I don't pay to hear the guy behind
That's
me
true.
singing and making noise. But
Right. Like you said, I was trying to sing at one time. Oh, who sings that? Oh, let's keep it that way.
yeah, exactly.
Right. But the question I'm gonna pose this to you guys.
Yeah.
And see what you think of it. Now, with them talking about, with them actually with them bringing up New Japan, with them bringing up All Japan, and acknowledging Japanese wrestling organizations being over there in Japan, how would it go down if we saw like what we saw in the past with WCW and they had a super show where the WWE roster took on like people from New Japan or people from All Japan in an interpromotional card? Do you think they would have difficulty working against a regular Japanese roster, or
As far as style,
the way the WWE style is now?
there was a time, obviously, going back to the Attitude Era, Jericho did tours in Japan, Eddie Guerrero, all those guys back on that at that time all did tours in Japan. Nowadays, we're not seeing that as much. But I do have a call coming in from Connecticut Horror Fest.
Connecticut Horror Fest is calling.
Rob, you are on the air on the Squared Circle. I'm here with my co-hosts Jason and Dan, and this is Rob from Connecticut Horror Fest.
Hey guys, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
We've got your image on the screen as we speak. Saturday, July 18th at the Matrix Conference Center in Danbury from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. You have got a roster that just bears comparison to no other. In connection to our show, you're bringing in Mick Foley. How does Mick Foley fit into the Connecticut Horror Fest?
Well, what we, I grew up a huge fan of wrestling. I'm 40 years old now, so I grew up with wrestling is something that I've always loved growing up. And I'm from Connecticut here, and of course, the thing that we got all the time growing up here was the WWF. It was called at that time. But I kind of learned at an early age. I wasn't into the whole gimmick kind of thing. Everybody came in WWF. They were either like a trash, a trash sanitation guy, or a dentist, or something like that.
Tugboat, Hurricane, yeah.
Right.
All those guys, yep.
So basically, I learned it at an early age. I turned on like CBS, and there would be like NWA wrestling at that time. So I grew up with like a fan of like the Road Warriors. They were a huge tag team of mine. Midnight Express. So I've always had like a big love for wrestling, and last year was our first Connecticut Horror Fest. We were actually scheduled to have Ox Baker there because he has a connection in the state from New York.
Yes, yeah, we've had him on the show. Yep.
Right, and it's a shame that he got sick because he couldn't make the show. So that was very unfortunate. It's sad that he passed away. So this year we wanted to get someone else that fit into this event, and Mick Foley, in my opinion, played two of the scariest characters in wrestling of all time. Cactus Jack, which is basically, Charles Manson. Yeah. And then you have, when he first came on as Mankind before it evolved into kind of a comedic character.
Yep.
That was a pretty creepy character that he played.
Oh, yeah, and he heard the voices in his head.
Oh, yeah, the Mankind character.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, you're right.
Hanging out in the boiler room.
So that to me is, a big connection. I mean, because we're kind of showcasing more than just, we have some pretty awesome horror movie stars there, but we also have guys that, we have horror authors, we have horror comic book artists, we have a horror music group there, and we wanted to, represent wrestling, and, who better than, Mick Foley, who's ridiculously popular, and I've met him in person before, and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that we wanted to have at our show, and that's basically what we wanted to bring to Connecticut. Just nice people that are, that you see in either movies or on screen or read their books, and people could have, one day to kind of interact with a passion and genre they love, like horror.
Yeah, excellent. And, also you're bringing in my favorite from Hellraiser, Doug Bradley, Pinhead himself. What a catch there. That's incredible.
Yeah, we're excited to have him. He's I would say one of our headliners. I mean, I'd say we probably have three big headliners this year with Mick Foley, Doug Bradley, and of course Gunnar Hansen, who plays Leatherface. Pinhead, I mean, he was, Doug Bradley played Pinhead, and I can't remember off the top of my head 7 or 8 of the Hellraiser series.
Right.
And I think if you were to make a Mount Rushmore of modern horror, he would have a strong case to be on that mountain.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Gunnar Hansen, who's Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw. I mean, he would be on that Mount Rushmore. Obviously, Pinhead, I would say Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, last year we actually had Tony Moran, who was the first Michael Myers at our event.
Yep.
This year we actually have one of the guys that played Jason in Friday the 13th Part 2. So we think, the Friday the 13th is such a huge series, and we think that, fans will come out and meet, I know lots of people that have a machete signed by all of the Jasons, and
wow.
It's pretty cool to see how kind of, the cult following that Friday the 13th has, and it's pretty interesting, and it's cool, but we definitely are looking forward to, the event on the 18th, and we're really excited. We're hoping that Connecticut really comes out and shows a lot of support.
Yeah.
So far, we've gotten a lot of ticket orders from New York and Massachusetts.
Well, I mean, being in Danbury, you're like 10 minutes away from New York, the New York line there, so
right,
it's not too hard.
Last year we had it in Waterbury. So it was kind of, when you mention Waterbury, I don't think really anyone wants to go to Waterbury no matter what's there.
Yeah.
Danbury is, we have it in a really nice building. It used to be the old Union Carbide building. It's a really safe area.
Yeah.
And plenty of parking, and it's safe, and we're really excited to have a really good turnout there. And I know, we spoke with Mick Foley's representative, and he's excited to have him there. And,
yeah.
I guess he's going to be driving in that day, and
nice.
So we're really excited to get him there and meet the fans. We think it's going to be really cool.
And in addition, you've got from one of the hottest shows as we speak, from The Walking Dead, you have Melissa Cowan coming in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was actually pretty much the face of The Walking Dead in the first season. I mean, she's Rick's first zombie that he basically comes across, and she's like crawling across the, across the lawn there, and she, that image of her, her face has been on so many promotional items for Walking Dead, and she's such a sweet girl. She's really friendly, and I think fans are going to be really excited to meet her. I mean, we're really happy with our lineup this year. It's funny because this thing that was, and my wife and I, we run Horror News Network.
Yep.
And what that is, it's one of the largest horror news sites on the internet. So it's like CNN, but for horror.
Yep.
Off of this website, so we've covered many shows in New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, California, and there's never really anything like this in Connecticut. So, I mean, there's like dozens of Comic-Cons here, and there's dozens of Comic-Cons in every state, but we wanted to do something different. And so what we decided to do is launch a convention for our passion, which is horror. And, the first thing, that was important to us is we wanted to make sure everyone that comes to our convention is nice to fans, because nothing disappoints me more. And I think probably everybody has had an experience like this in their life, that they're really excited to meet someone, maybe, a wrestler that they look up to, or maybe an athlete, an NFL athlete, and you go up and meet them, and they're a jerk to you.
Yeah.
And, that's something that is a real turn-off, and that's something that actually, my wife and I think about, because we've met, a lot of these people in the horror industry from doing interviews with them and everything. So, we gauge out who's nice, who may not be nice to the fans.
Right.
Last year, we got a really big eye-opener in our first year that our main guest canceled on us less than 24 hours before the show.
Wow.
And that was Linda Blair. So it was it was really sad to us, because she's from Connecticut.
Yeah.
And, we had paid to fly her in and everything, and then we got a text saying she's not able to make it. And it was, really hard for a first-year show to kind of...
Yeah, maybe we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was throwing up some green, some green stuff.
Who knows?
Could be.
It wouldn't be the first time. But you also have Michael J. White from Spawn coming in, and you know, he's got a mixed martial arts background. I mean, he's you know, not just, you know, a one trick pony. I mean, he's been in quite a few projects, and the guy's very athletic and you know, extremely handsome, and he should be a big draw as well.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we're excited to have. I don't think he comes around a lot. I mean, he's a guy you don't see doing a lot of shows.
Yep.
And you know, in addition to Spawn, which you mentioned, he was in The Dark Knight. You know, the Batman film from a few years ago.
Correct. Yep.
He was also in. I don't know if you guys are into cartoons, but I'm a big fan of this cartoon. It was a movie as well called Black Dynamite, and he did the voice acting for the lead character in that show.
Yep.
So he's like a very relevant actor, and he's, you know, as he mentioned, his mixed martial arts background. He was just actually, I want to say earlier this year, he was just introduced into the Connecticut Hall of Fame for sports with who was it? I think it was, I forget the other guy who was introduced into there with, Michael Jai White was in there, so it was definitely, you know, pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and he's been in movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme, so you know, and you know, obviously one of the better mixed martial artists in film today. So I mean, the guy, it definitely has his credentials, and you know, another cult following is Sleepaway Camp. You got Felissa Rose.
Yeah, I mean, that's a movie that's it's a movie that kind of, you know, as you mentioned, has a cult following. It has, you know, the first, it's probably one of the most shocking endings in, you know, in horror movie history.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember seeing that. Oh my goodness, at the old Capitol Theater in my hometown. Wow. But you also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's great. We're excited to have her. She's, you know, she's very excited to meet the fans that come here. You know, this is going to be her first time in Connecticut, and she's really excited to be here.
Great. And you've got panels, there's like a Q&A sessions and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have some Q&A sessions. You know, this is our, as I said, this is our second year, so we didn't want to take, you know, we'd love to have panels with everyone, but we didn't want to take everyone away from their tables.
Yeah.
You know, so we're just kind of getting our feet wet this year. We have, you know, a horror comic book panel where we're giving away free horror comics to people that attend the panel. We have a Tyler Green from Face Off. He's from Connecticut, and he was a finalist a few seasons ago.
Right.
A live demo of makeup there, so that should be pretty neat.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We also have a costume contest.
Yep.
And we have the grand prize there is $500 for the person with the best costume. And we have a Q&A with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre cast, the Sawyer family, Gunnar Hansen, Ed Neal, and John Dugan. And we also have a Q&A with Doug Bradley to end the night. So
nice.
we definitely have a very busy schedule going on, and we're going to have, you know, over like 45 vendors there. There's going to be a ton of people selling, you know, action figures, T-shirts, DVDs, and we're just hoping everyone comes out and has a good time.
Yeah, and it's cthorror.com, which we have up on our screen here. And Horror News Network is how we can get a hold of you and see what you're doing. And
horrornewsnetwork.net, and to keep up on the convention, it's cthorror.com.
That's fantastic. And again, it's July 18th at the Matrix Conference Center from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. You know, I don't think you have enough time in the day.
What town is that in?
That's Danbury.
Danbury.
I don't think you have enough time in the day. 9 hours is, you know, I don't think it's enough time, you know, to meet everyone you got coming in.
Yeah, it's challenging because you know, all the other shows are basically 2 and 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to, you know, just ease Connecticut into this. We're trying to make it one day, see how it goes. Maybe in the future it will expand to 2 days.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've been at shows where the last day people are just sitting at their tables and there's like, you know, there's not many people
Right,
there.
it's burnout, yeah. People get burnt out.
Yeah, we think that one day is really good. We try to make the hours kind of friendly for anyone. If someone has to work on Saturday, like
Yep.
a later shift, they can get there in the morning.
Yep.
Or if someone works the first shift, they can get there at night. So we're really excited. There's going to be plenty of parking, and we're really super excited talking to you guys to have Mick Foley there. And it's going to be a really cool event.
And other than the cthorror.com, are you guys available on Facebook or?
Yeah, we're definitely on Facebook, on Twitter. If you just look up CT Horror, you'll definitely find us on there.
And this is, as you said, that's your second year. I'm guessing that we're already working on next year.
Oh man, let me tell you guys, my wife is the one who the primary planner of this event.
Yeah.
And she probably has like 5 years from now planned out who we're having already. It's pretty funny. I'm like, I have to like rein her and like, let's just get through this year first. I mean, like, I
Right.
know who I'm leaning for to get next year.
Yeah.
Person that is a huge name, and the person has never been. I don't even know if they've ever been at a convention on the East Coast before.
Wow. Yeah, and at the last PWA event, I met you there and your wife, and you couldn't have been more gracious to me. And you're both wonderful people, and just very nice to meet you. And I'm wishing you all the success in the world in this event. And I'm glad we could be a little part of it and help you out.
Well, thank you guys so much, and it was awesome meeting you there as well. And I think you guys really have a great idea for a show, and I think it's pretty awesome. I wish you guys success. I mean, I'd love to see this show go on to like just keep moving and do bigger things.
That's the plan.
Yeah, we're about to launch a national project, and
Right.
in a couple of weeks we're going to be announcing that. So
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it, guys.
we'll be chasing you.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, I hope to see you guys on the 18th then.
All right. Thank you very much, Rob. Much success to you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Take it easy.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just the roster on that, and he did have a good point. Mick Foley did, play like on the verge of some horror characters.
He did.
Much like Kane and Undertaker. At one point or another in their career.
Especially the Mankind character,
Oh,
not
yes.
so much the Cactus Jack
Yeah.
character. Cactus Jack was more of a wild man,
Or,
Yeah.
or the dude Love.
especially not the dude Love.
Yeah, that was more psychedelic. But c2horror.com, check it out. I mean, it's going to be one fantastic day. And I think that
I'm not usually into horror,
Yeah.
but when I do, it might be that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover from the horror genre to the wrestling genre.
Right.
As they say, the demographic is about the same, and and he's got some of the classics, all going all the way back to Texas Chainsaw and Hellraiser, and the current with The Walking Dead from Melissa Cowan from The Walking Dead.
Right.
So I mean, there's something there for everybody, and for our audience, Mick Foley. He does come around a bit, but here's an opportunity not too far away from us to check him out and go meet. And I don't know, have you guys met Foley before?
Years
not
and
had the
years ago.
privilege.
Yeah, he was wonderful with my kids. My kids were hanging out with his younger sons, and we met him at a Northeast Wrestling event, and he was just a sweetheart. And his wife is not only is she a nice person, she's gorgeous too. What a great family, and Foley is the consummate family man, and just a wonderful guy.
I mean, you're going back to the ringside seat days with Stone Cold Steve Cundy. We met him at the New Haven Coliseum
Oh, okay.
at an autograph signing.
Yeah, which unfortunately New Haven Coliseum is no more.
Right.
But
That's going back.
yeah, but
Right.
yeah, Foley, you will not be disappointed. And Rob had a great point. He wants to bring in people that are going to be nice with the fans and gracious with the fans.
Any Foley experiences, Dan?
Not me personally, but a friend.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has MS, and Mick Foley does work with him through one of the summer camps. He helps raise money to put other younger people with MS who are afflicted with MS to the summer camp each year.
Yeah, and if you read Foley's books, he is so involved in charity events, and he's answered the call for many, many different charities. He's not just just pick one and stick with
Oh,
it.
no.
He's, he'll do.
He's out there.
Yeah, he's out there for a lot of different charities. And you've got some charitable stuff coming up before we run out of time.
Well, one or two.
Go ahead.
But, Mr. J, I'm gonna throw the ball to you.
You're going to throw the
bro.
ball to me?
Okay.
All right. Then I want to get back to what we were, the
Yeah.
Beast in the East, of
Yeah.
course. But what it is a food drive to benefit the East Haven Food Pantry in Life Haven. It's this coming Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the East Haven Stop and Shop, Trolley Square. Be there. Come support.
Call me and wake me up when I come down.
Oh, we'll call you.
Right.
Like 2 a.m., me amigos.
Yeah.
I'll be just
calling
getting
you up.
back from New Hampshire. I'm not going up there to run for
I'll
president.
be just getting out of work, so.
You'll just be getting back from New Hampshire, but you'll be there.
I'll be there.
You'll be there.
I'll be there. Definitely.
I can get there from walk there from my house. So.
Right.
But and you also have you're going to give blood.
I'm going to get blood. I was going to originally do that August 1st on my birthday. However, I talked to a couple people and they say, well, you don't want to be, feeling ill or anything on your birthday.
Oh.
So I'm going to do that tomorrow afternoon at 2:30.
Oh, there we go.
The one time I did donate blood, I was a senior in high school. We did it right in North Haven High School, the original one. And I donated blood, and I remember having to lie down for about a half hour, 45 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm a lymphoma survivor. I'm without my spleen, so I'm unable to give blood. But prior to that, I was a donor. But I urge anyone and everyone that can to do so.
Definitely. It's a worthy cause.
If you're looking for a donation by you, just call 1-800-RED CROSS. That's 1-800-REDCROSS. And they can hook you up with a donation site by you.
Giving back.
Giving back. That's what we do. When you're in the squared circle, you give back.
Yeah.
That's
Indeed
what
we
you
do.
do. So what we were, the Beast in the East.
Yes, getting back to that.
Getting back to that, and I was just wondering what you thought. I know what I think, but how would the WWE roster fare against maybe a New Japan and a Supercard or All Japan?
What style?
What's that again?
What style? What style of matches?
Any kind of match.
If you're basing your matches on technical ability, at this point, I'd have to give the nod to the Japanese wrestlers.
You don't really think that the WWE main roster at this time could really hang?
No, I mean when you have a lot of talent right now in the WWE that's injured, sidelined, whatever. If they were up to full strength, it'd be very interesting. But unfortunately, at this time, because of those injuries, I'd have to give it to Japan.
Yeah, I'd have to give it to Japan too. The Performance Center down in Florida is a great idea, but they're learning only one style of wrestling. And for myself and Jacob being in PWA, Pete and the folks down there train in multiple styles.
Right.
And, Joseph Von Schmidt having toured all over the world, and he's brought some of his other trainers with him. Lucha style, they do everything left-handed instead of right-handed. They do the opposite hand than the American style.
Right.
And if you're not familiar with it and you go into a ring against somebody from Mexico or South America, you're going to be backwards, and you're not going to be on the same page. Much like the style that they work in Japan. From what I understand, it's a much stiffer way of wrestling. And again, if you're not trained and you're not used to it,
it's stiffer. It's almost when they say, "Oh, wrestling's fake here." It's over there. It's wrestling's real.
Yeah, and so I don't see with people coming out of the Performance Center not having like the old territories, not having toured like Jericho and the guys of his era did. Jericho went down to Mexico. You read his books, right? I mean, Jericho went to Mexico. He went to Japan. And it was
Jericho happened to be on that card, as a matter of fact.
It was a huge deal for these guys to go, not only to travel, but to learn from all the different styles. You know, and right now with the Performance Center, if you only have those 5 or 6 trainers, you're only going to learn just the amount of what they know.
Right.
You know, and it's very limited, and I really think that to vary and to broaden their horizons, maybe the Performance Center should bring in people from Japan and from Mexico and South America to get the different style of wrestling and a different perspective on training.
And when you talk about the WWE roster, you have, let me see, you get Brock Lesnar, who wrestles, once, twice a year. You have one of my personal favorites, The Undertaker. He's, wrestles once a year now.
Right.
You've got Sting once a year, squashed by Triple H at WrestleMania. You do have some up-and-comers that aren't quite there yet to compete with the Japanese, like the, help me out here, the man that Gravity forgot.
Neville.
Neville, I like him. But as far as the mainstream roster, it's still got to go with Japan.
Yeah.
Right. I think it probably varies from person to person. I think some people might do all right. I think Dolph Ziggler going over there might do all right. And there's something I heard of him possibly leaving WWE to go to Ring of Honor and possibly get like the AJ Styles schedule.
Yeah.
Where he's part Ring of Honor, part New Japan.
Right.
He might fare well. Orton, I can see maybe doing okay, and going to Japan to wrestle.
Yeah, but you're also mentioning guys that have been around since
Right.
At least the tail end of the Attitude Era.
Right.
Where they did travel.
Certain individuals, I think Cena would get ripped apart working Japan.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of. I'll agree with you there with the NXT. A lot of the way they're getting trained, it's cookie cutter. It's one way,
Right.
our way or the highway, which really it's not going to work worldwide.
Right, and I honestly believe that
Right.
with all the different variations and different views of training, I think it's very narrow-minded to have just that singular.
Triple H would really have to sit down with everybody or get them in for some Japanese training, maybe if they were to do something like that.
Right.
Or just make them sit down. Hey, these guys, they hit hard. They work stiff.
Right, and like in baseball,
Right.
Baseball is huge in Japan. Some of the guys that come over from Japan and get onto the American teams fare well, and some of them just can't cut it.
Right.
It's a different. You think it's the same game, but it's a different way of playing.
Yeah.
The fields are different. So there's so many different variables. But I'll go with Dan, and I'll stick where I think the Japanese wrestlers against at least the younger roster.
Right. Younger,
Japan has it.
definitely Japan would have it. I'll go with you guys there. It just, as far as people that have been there for a while, it just, it depends on who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is overall. Moving forward, why don't we go on? We got Battlegrounds coming up in a couple weeks. We can get to that. Let's go over to Ring of Honor. Actually, before we even do that, NXT actually decided that they wanted to have a card on August 22nd, the same night that the Field of Honor is going to be taking place at the MCU Park once again. Merely blocks away.
Right.
So I mean, a tactical move on the part of WWE to take away some of the audience from
Right.
Ring of Honor. And
I think they had some concern there.
It's really strange that they would, because Ring of Honor had announced this months ago.
Right.
That they were going to use that date in Coney Island, and WWE are going on sale, I believe, next week for the Barclays Center right there in Brooklyn, not too far from Coney Island.
And that's going to be the same place SummerSlam's going to be at.
Yes, you are correct.
Right.
It seems that WWE's returned to that Barclays Center quite a few times since it's been open.
Yeah, they don't use Madison Square Garden for house shows now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. They don't really do Raw or SmackDown from there any longer.
It's really strange, and it's interesting to see that how the ticket. Obviously, I believe that the NXT show at the Barclays Center will sell out. without a doubt.
Oh, it'll sell out, but I don't think it'll sell as fast as the WWE show.
You know what? I would predict it would go faster because you know what? The NXT roster really hasn't toured and been around. You know, I mean, how many times have we seen the main roster of WWE? You know, the Cenas and you know and the Ortons and the Zigglers and all of that. So I think the opportunity to see in person at the NXT roster, which we've really only seen on the network, is going to be the draw. Is going to be you know something different, something new, and I believe personally, I think the NXT product is much fresh, you know, more fresh, and you know, and more exciting than Monday Night Raw. So
Yeah, but here again, WWE, the Monday Night Raw is the more established product. People know what they're getting walking in. You know, as a parent, a grandparent, and so forth, that you can bring your kids to that product and know what to expect. If you're not used to watching the Ring of Honor product, which a lot of your older wrestling fans may not be, I don't think there's going to be that realm of safety there. And that leads me to still think the WWE will sell it quicker.
What's different about Ring of Honor is that the matches go on a little bit longer. It's something that fans...
No, I'm saying the NXT at the Barclays Center is going to sell out. Really fast. I think I think I'll agree with you there. A Ring of Honor is going to be a harder sell. It's a larger, it's a large venue. It's an outdoor venue.
Right.
So you know, I mean, leading up to it, we don't know how the weather's going to be. You know, and that's going to be a major factor. Whereas NXT is an indoor venue. It's a more popular product, a more seen product. You know, with the WWE Network hitting a million subscribers. So I think that, you know, NXT, it will sell out. They're going on sale next, I believe, on the 19th, something like that. But I have a feeling that they're going to be snatched up right away. And Ring of Honor, the only thing that Ring of Honor has going for it is that the tickets had already gone on sale.
Right.
So I don't think Vince is going to, you know, draw any, you know, people aren't going to throw away the Ring of Honor tickets.
Obviously not.
So
Ring of Honor is a different product in the sense that they focus more on in-ring action.
Oh, without a doubt.
Their focus is on in-ring action. They have a lot longer matches than the WWE does. It's something that the average wrestling fan nowadays, like the younger generation, isn't really used to. They're used to the quick in and out that the WWE gives them.
And that, to some extreme, Jay, maybe their weakness.
Right.
Because your younger fans like the character development, like the storyline, whereas the older fans, like the three of us, like the longer matches, like the.
You can appreciate Ring of Honor for doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of, like, somebody that might be in a young 18, 19-year-old demographic, whatever, early 20s, might, you know, you have to really appreciate Ring of Honor to. You have to want to see long matches if you're that age.
I really think that Ring of Honor should stay with what they're doing because we don't need another WWE.
No.
TNA has tried very hard, and if you listen to Jim Ross, you know, Jim Ross calls TNA WWE Light. You know, and Ring of Honor is its own entity and has their own identity, and I think they should remain, you know, with that and stay with it and
they give you the tail of the tape every time they're on TV on Wednesday nights. They tell you the statistics of each person competing.
I really enjoy that they're a different product, you know, and again, it's more in-ring, it's less Real Housewives drama, you know, that type of storylines. You know, it's you know, going back to what we were saying about Japan, I think the Ring of Honor roster has a fantastic chance against New Japan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a Ring of Honor New Japan card. I got the lineup so far. The newly crowned IWGP, that's New Japan champion, Rainmaker Okada. He's going to be taking on Roderick Strong.
Yep.
You're going to see Jay Lethal, who's the new Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yes.
Smart move or bad move, I don't know. That's going to can be debated.
You mentioned Jay Lethal being the Ring of Honor champion. That made Rolling Stone magazine.
Did it really?
RollingStone.com did a whole feature on Jay Lethal becoming the Ring of Honor champion. where that came from. I mean, that's so out of the realm of that magazine.
Hey, why not? You know.
That it was nice to see. One, Jay Lethal getting some ink, and Ring of Honor getting some ink in a national forum.
He's teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura to take on Red Dragon. That's Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. For those of you who do not know,
Yeah.
the Briscoes, Jay and Mark, no relation to Jerry Briscoe
Right.
and Jack Briscoe from the
Right.
WWE, taking on the Time Splitters. That's Alex Shelley and IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Kushida. The Killer Elite Squad, the combination of Lance Hoyt and Davey Boy Smith Jr., are going to take on War Machine, the combination of Hanson and Rowe. Also, you can see the Addiction, that's Daniels and Kazarian. IWGP Tag Champions, the Young Bucks. The Kingdom, that's Michael Bennett and Matt Taven. For Northeast Wrestling fans, of course.
Yep.
Might know them. Adam Cole, Roppongi Vice from New Japan. Matt Sydal, ACH, Moose, Cedric Alexander, Donovan Dijak, Dalton Castle, who I'm very, very impressed with. Adam Page and Silas Young.
Nice.
That's basically the entire roster.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic show. Hopefully, they'll get a good turnout, and that'll just, let them have more matches and more cards, on the road here in Connecticut.
Right.
Because God knows that we need some business here in Connecticut.
And of course, like that,
I'd love to see him come.
as you mentioned, Todd Hanson's on the card.
Right.
Because I don't think we've seen Ring of Honor here in Connecticut. We have TNA, but I don't think we've seen Ring of Honor come to Connecticut yet. So hopefully,
No. They have been here. They had a card. 2006 I went. Hartford.
Wow. It's going back
Not
ways.
too well known CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were on the card.
Oh, nice.
Right. Before anybody nationally knew
Right.
really who they were.
Nice.
And that Jay Lethal guy, he's all right. But let's face it, he's not Troy Stevens.
We have to get a hold of Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
What is this about Wild Bills? They're no longer going to be at Wild Bills?
They've moved, July 19th to the PWA Performance Center.
Okay.
And I don't know the reasoning for circumstances beyond their control.
Mm-hmm.
But the July 19th, they're going to be in Cheshire at the PWA
Right.
facility. And that if you go onto their website or their Facebook page, you'll see the roster
Right.
and the card. And it promises to be a fun day.
Yeah, well, I'm sure regardless of where they hold the show, if they held it down the road on Hemingway Ave or somewhere, that it would still be an excellent card. PWA always does a superb job of putting on their shows.
Mm-hmm. And Pioneer Valley, who I was very impressed with. Who, bear with us, everybody. The beautiful footage is on its way.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in New Hampshire for a few days. I'm going to
Yeah.
have some time to kill.
Hey,
I do want to, from what I understand, ESPN actually did a little piece on Pioneer Valley.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It seems to me that wrestling is coming into the spotlight again. And who was it that just did the behind the curtain piece? Was that ESPN also?
That was behind the curtain. That was concerning Triple H in the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Right. But
So-
this was actually concerning independent wrestling.
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna have to ask Hammer Tunis a little more about that.
Right, but as I'm saying, ESPN. When was the last time they covered wrestling at all?
Oh yeah.
And like you said, with Jay Lethal being in Rolling Stone, I mean, so it seems to be that wrestling is catching on a little bit. Again, I don't think it'll ever reach the apex of the Steve Austin era and The
No.
Rock.
But it's nice to see the little guy, independent wrestling,
Yeah.
the little
Oh,
guy.
without a
Let's say in this business,
Oh, yeah.
getting mentioned.
Yeah, but it's nice to see that wrestling is becoming a little more in the spotlight. Like I said, it'll never get to what it was at one point, where it was on the cover of all sorts of different magazines and all over Entertainment Tonight
Right.
and all that happy stuff. But it's nice to see it catch on a little bit, and the stock actually jumped for a change. It dropped back down, but it jumped for a little while there.
So we got 5 minutes left.
Well, it's never gotten a really truly fair shake compared to the other sports out there.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, when's the last time you saw the results from a major supercard on the Sunday night sports program?
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
And you would
Never.
think with ESPN running 24 hours on several different stations, you know, ESPN.
They have like
ESPN2,
ESPN 10, don't
Oh,
they?
yeah. Yeah. And you would think they would have, you know, 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, you know, to talk about a little bit of wrestling.
Why not?
You know, granted, it's not a sport that you can bet on, and you
No.
know, but I think it has value in its entertainment.
Any blowing off steam, guys?
No, I don't think so.
Under 5.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I've had a positive week, but July 18th, the East Haven Community Kitchen will be having a event at the Episcopalian Church, which is right behind the green. I think it's a free event. From what I've been told, it's going to be hot dogs, hamburgers, so forth. It's more or less a community get together.
Nice.
I'll be participating in that as well, so I'll add that one to the list.
Yeah.
And on the 12th, I hope everybody out there can come out and see the three of us. You might have to, you know, shield your eyes or something. But, you know, come out and help and donate what you can at the Stop and Shop, non-perishable food or clothing for the ladies and children in need.
Excellent. Excellent.
I don't know. I mentioned how I didn't feel as if they should have put that on the 4th. Maybe it was an accident on their part, but the only other thing I can think of is with independent wrestling maybe not getting enough attention. I do appreciate what ESPN did putting that piece out for Pioneer Valley.
Yeah.
I can say that the next Pioneer Valley takes place August 2nd, South Hadley, Massachusetts at the Polish American Club.
Nice.
And we'll definitely be in attendance then. In addition to PWA this coming
July 19th.
July 19th,
Yep.
back at the Performance Center in Cheshire. August 12th for Revival Pro Wrestling. I may have the date wrong. If I do, I'll post the
We'll
correct
update
date.
it next week.
We'll
Yeah.
update it next week, and that's at the Chicopee Boys and Girls Club
Yep.
once again. So we're gonna be out there.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna be out there.
Jay's
There-
already
there's
out
gonna
there.
there's gonna
Oh,
be
he has been for
there's
years.
gonna be us promoting and supporting independent
course.
wrestling,
Of course. There we are.
and we're gonna do it.
We're wrapping up.
Maybe others do it, but we do it too.
We do it better.
And for
Hey,
next
now.
week, we're going to have a special guest. So check in and see who it is and light up those lines.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night. Good luck. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.